Shalom everyone, and today we are going to study Parashat VaEra. This is part of the book of Exodus, chapter 6, starting with verse 2. We have to I just have to remind us the context. We are in the journey of what is called the Exodus, and what is called in Kabbalistic tradition ShOVaVIM TaT, which means as I explained last week, the 8 weeks of the readings of the book of Exodus, the first 8 weeks. The fact that we're reading about the Exodus and the whole story till Mount Sinai revelation and the process of Mount Sinai revelation, this is very important because we are not reading it just because we're reading it because there is a cosmic awareness or excitement, basically it's a gift that every year during that reading, we are getting an opportunity, each one of us, to deliver himself, herself, to a better way of perception of reality, because it's all about perception. It's all about awareness. The whole journey of a human being is purification of our awareness, because reality has nothing to do with anything objective. It's all about the story we're telling ourselves, and that story is the masterpiece that we are creating in this world. And as we learned so many times, that in the beginning, when the Creator created humanity, He created us in His image. And the image of the Creator, that means we're not talking about any physical image, of course. We're talking about the Creator as an endless source of life, so that the moment we say it's infinite, it has no finite boundaries. So we are talking about the Creator imprinting in us His creation, the desire to receive His bliss, and therefore, because that was imprinted in us, it's also included within. Part of the bliss is being in the image of the Creator, which means being independent, being creative, 3, being a giver. All these 3 aspects are basically, in a nutshell, just the focal point that we need to have all our lifetimes in order to achieve what we call destiny, what we call our calling. So the whole journey of getting out of Egypt, although this is a story that happened 33 centuries ago, it's still imprinted in the universe, because it's not their story of those people who lived at that time in Egypt, but it is our story because it is part of the great parade journey of humanity towards redemption. So if this is the journey towards redemption of the Israelites out of Egypt, that journey is the journey that gave humanity the message, the rules, the whole vision of what does it mean to be on a journey towards redemption, a journey towards real total freedom, the freedom to be, the freedom to create, the freedom to give. And when you're not connected to these freedoms, you can never really achieve your own calling. So understanding that cannot happen in an instant. It's not that you listen to a lecture, you get the ABC of the deal, and you're done. You know what to do. It looks like it is much more complicated, and we can see it in the journey of getting out of Egypt. So to cover what we read last Parashat Shemot, in the previous 5 chapters and one verse, Moses is being sent through the revelation of the burning bush. Moses is being sent to Egypt to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. So he goes to Pharaoh. He's telling Pharaoh God's message, and Pharaoh's reaction is, no way, forget about it. I'm going to make it the fact that you are having a dream to be free. It means that I'm doing a wrong job as the enslaver. Like, because everybody who knows the psychology of slavery, it could be an abusive spouse, could be an abusive boss, could be a cult. The whole thing is to get those enslaved into such a survival mode that the only thing they can think about is surviving. The moment you can think about freedom, it means you're not abused enough. And this is a human psychology. You can find this pattern everywhere in history. Doesn't matter what's the background of the people. But the moment you have people who are abusers, you see the same patterns again and again and again. So now Pharaoh's reaction is just the fact that you ask for freedom means I'm not doing my job. So it means that I have to put much more pressure upon you, which means the quotas of bricks you're preparing daily will stay. However, we, the Egyptians, we don't give you all the materials like we used to do. Now you have to go and fetch the materials on your own. And of course, the Israelites are so troubled fetching the materials to make the bricks. So, of course, they cannot meet the quotas. They're being punished. And who they come with the blame? To Moses, not to Pharaoh. To Moses. Why? You can blame him. That's such a normal thing. That's such a human nature that you blame the one who is willing to listen. And also they say to Moses, you are going to make Pharaoh hate us. Excuse me? You're right now in slavery, which is basically a cover-up for genocide, the same way people were enslaved in the concentration camps in Nazi Germany. The purpose was to destroy, kill as many as possible. And through the hard labor was basically to eliminate the Jewish people. Pharaoh was the first one, but not the last one. Okay? And it's not only the Jews who experience such an enslavement. So what is the psychology of the enslavement is the fact that the moment you want to redeem yourselves, and that's what we read in Parashat Shmot, it becomes worse. And we read that, we go a few verses back to the end of Parashat Shmot, chapter 5, verse 23, that Moses, in return to the blame that the Israelites saying, because of your initiative, you coming to Pharaoh and telling Pharaoh, let my people go, and the result is that we are being beaten up, and now it's worse than it used to be before. ומאז באתי אל פרעה לדבר בשמך הרע לעם הזה. So Moses turns to God, and since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, it only became worse to this nation. והצל לא הצלת את עמך, and you did not save your nation. What is God's answer? Chapter 6, verse 1, ויאמר אדוני אל משה, אתה תראה אשר אעשה לפרעה, כי ביד חזקה ישלחם, וביד חזקה יגרשם מארצו. And God tells Moses, now you will see what I'm going to do to Pharaoh, because with a strong hand, he will send them out. And a strong hand, he will drive them out of his country. Is God reacting to Moses' reactive claim. This is the name of the process. We know that, yes, everybody wants things to be better, things to be less painful. The point is that no pain, no gain. You want to reach a higher place with much better conditions. The beginning of the process, till you create enough power, and more than that, state of mind that allows you to rise to a higher position in your life, a better dimension, a better perception. There is a price. We call it a quantum leap. But the quantum leap, if you learn a little bit physics, in order to have a quantum leap, let's say for an electron to leap from one level in the atom to another level, to the next level, you need to invest energy, which means no free lunches in this world, even in the lowest, like the most, it's not even microscopic, it is the nanometric level. You need to pay the ticket to go to the next stage, which means the electron wants to move to level 2 from level 1 or level 3 from level 2. You need to pay the price, the ticket of how much energy you have to invest in order to move to the next level. And we know when we speak about physics and we speak about the electron in level 1, the same electron will behave totally in a different level. It's like a different reality in level 2 or in level 3 or level 4. Each one of them is another total different universe relatively to the electron. So how do you make that leap? All of us, again, all of us, we're just learning for one purpose. We want to redeem ourselves and to achieve a higher level. That cannot happen for free. You need to pay the price, the ticket. You need to invest the energy. So everybody who learned about his own self, you want to change something in your life and to reach a higher position. Let's say physically, you're not in shape, you want to get in shape. You're not healthy, you want to get healthier diet. Whatever, we know there is always a price. The famous one is the one I repeat always. Somebody is very much into smoking. Is smoking 3 packages of cigarettes daily. And you realize that this is not good for you. It's not healthy. So after years and years and years, something happened and you really decide to break the pattern, to unleash yourself from this bondage, and you stop smoking. And what does that mean? That tomorrow morning everything will be rosy and healthier and so on? No, you get much sicker. You get very sick the next days because your body goes through a healing crisis. Again, every time that, and what does it mean, the healing crisis? You right now, you have to have the patience. You said, I'm going to stop smoking, my life will be so much better. No, it becomes worse. Moses comes to Pharaoh. He's basically igniting the procedure. He's igniting the process that by the end of that process, the Israelites are going to reach the highest level humanity ever arrived to. Mount Sinai revelation, seeing the voices and experiencing not just freedom from slavery to get up in the morning to go to work, but freedom from the angel of death. This is the ultimate freedom. It's like freedom from the sin of Adam, freedom for any limitation of this physical, painful universe, reality that we live in. That process could not be without paying the ticket. So we have to understand that any time We're willing to rise to a better, higher dimension of understanding the world, achieving a better awareness, and telling and experiencing a better story. There is a ticket you have to pay. That ticket means that, as we see over here, before it becomes better, it becomes worse. And when it becomes worse, it's not that the thing is a mistake. It's not that what you're going through is a mistake. It's basically the sign that you're going through something good, that you finally paying the price. But for that, you need to have the vision of why are you paying the price. When you don't understand why you're paying the price, because your vision is so hurt and so blurred, you have a problem because you can't pay the price because you don't understand what for. So you run basically as fast as possible to your previous comfort zone. So a lot of people try to quit smoking or go on any kind of healthier diet or healthier patterns of behavior. It's hard, it's painful, there's a reaction always that you have to deal with a lot of discomfort, especially like getting yourself to a higher place. Needs a lot of what they say, blood, sweat, and tears. You're not ready to pay the price because your vision is not clear enough. Because when your vision is clear enough, human beings are amazing creatures. When they can focus on the vision and they get excited about the vision strong enough, human beings are capable of going through horrible discomfort and they're still excited about it because the vision gives them the power. So when Moses, so we learn, it's not that, talking about Moses, how could Moses speak like this to God? How could Moses come to God with a complaint? Why did you send me? We're not talking gossip about Moses. We're learning about the process for ourselves because the Torah message is eternal. And if I can't see the message for myself right now, what do I need to read the story about some people that lived so many years ago that I'm not really sure that we have anything in common? Yes, we do have a lot in common because we are human beings and we have the same patterns and the same ailments and we have the same formulas for solution. And that's what we are here for. So when we come into verse 1 in Parashat VaEra, which is verse number 2 in Exodus chapter 6, וידבר אלוהים אל משה. So, by the way, somebody's asking the question, how come we're starting the parasha in verse 2 and not in verse 1? We have to remember that the division of the Torah and the whole Tanakh into chapters and verses, that was established by the Catholic Church, okay? Not by any Jewish scholar. Because during the Middle Ages, and yes, till the expulsion from Spain, Jews had to face continuous and one after one forced debates against the church to prove their point and so on. So the Jews had to follow the church's division because you had to bring quotes. So in the Jewish writings, they had to inject inside and that's what became the common accepted division of the Tanakh, the whole Hebrew Bible. And the result is that we're still there, like so many years later. So when you ask the question, why is it that the parasha is not starting, there's no alignment many times between the verses and the chapters, it's because different people created the division. The division to the parashot, that came down on Mount Sinai with Moses. That's how the Jewish tradition explains to us. וידבר אלוהים אל משה, and it says, and God speaks to Moses, ויאמר אליו אני אדוני. And Elohim, that's one of the names of God, answers Moses, ויאמר אליו, and he says to him, I am Hashem. Hashem, the name, and I spoke about it last week. The whole process is about the names because this is the official Jewish name for the book of Exodus, the book of Shemot, the book of names. Why? What's the connection? Because the whole deliverance, the whole redemption is about our relationships with God. If you want to define your mental state, your physical state, everything in your life, it's all about one thing, your relationships with God. Why is that so important? Because if we understand that, let's read a little bit about it from his amazing writing from Or HaChaim. Or HaChaim by Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, a Moroccan great Kabbalist, moved to Jerusalem in the 7th century and is buried in Mount Olives. What his greatest work is his commentary to the Torah. And let's read what he's saying. Because he was a great Kabbalist, and it's a very important kind of awareness that we need to delve into in order to improve our relationships with the light of the Creator. So he says like this, צריך לדעת מה דיבר אלוהים. What did Elohim, when we speak about Elohim, the name of God, Elohim, it means, and there's a problem, it's like these names, you cannot translate them into English. So you have to use the Hebrew word. Elohim is a name of God when it means judgment. Okay? So what does God speak? And then he says, and Hashem, the Tetragrammaton, answered him. Okay, the name of God changes in the middle of the sentence. No, we're talking about the perception is changing. אכן, להיות שדיבר משה לפני אל נורא ואיום דברים שאינם מן המוסר. So, since Moses came with complaints to God with, improper words, because he was blaming God, he doesn't understand the problem, that you can't just, a lot of people, they want peace now. They want the solution immediately. They want it once and for all. Whoever has a little experience knows nothing in this world is of that matter. It's all about the process. History is a long, long story of a lot of actions of people until an awareness comes to fruition and processes really come to their completion. And you can tell, oh, those were my greatest days. And you look backwards and say, yeah, it was not that easy, but today I can realize we really made a difference. We really changed our world, the world. We did something, made a dent. This is a process that takes a long time. The whole process of the 10 plagues took a year. But you want to get out of it right now. Right now. What time is it? Let's get out. Right now. Why didn't it happen right now? Because a process of such magnitude must take time. So Moses was kind of playing his game, the game of us, that the moment we feel discomfort and we turn to God, hey, God, we just had a good intention. We wanted freedom. We want to be with you. Why does it have to be so hard? And God, instead of Moses turning to him as like Hey, God, why are you doing that? It's like, it's not right. It shouldn't be like this. It's like, he's complaining. Like, God made a mistake. And God, what do you expect? That God will tell you, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I go to Pharaoh and say, I was wrong telling you to do it in the first place. I should have said, what do you think? אכן, להיות שדיבר משה לפני אל הים ונורא, נורא ואיום דברים שאינם מן המוסר, ובפרט לפני מלך גדול, it's like, even just speaking in front of a great king this way, it's improper. ודבר זה נמשך לצד שהראה לו פנים צוחקות, פנים שמחות, הרשומים בשם הוויה. So Moses is talking to Elohim. If you really want the precise word, it was not even Elohim, it was in even more judgment. Verse 22 in chapter 5. Vayashov Moshe el Adonai. So Moses turns to God back. Vayomar Adonai. And he calls Adonai the name of judgment. Elohim is judgment, but there's Adonai, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, is even more judgment. Lama ze shlachtani? What did you send me? It's like, what's the use? It became worse. לזה הראו השם פנים של מורא, שבחינת הדין הרשומים בשם אלוהים. Because Moses turned to God with the feel of judgment, and you have to understand, it's not just God. Psychology is teaching us that most people cannot react but the way you turn into them, which means you attack person, usually they attack back. You're angry with somebody, he will be angry back. You smile to them, they smile back. You speak with a low voice, you whisper, they answer with a whisper. You know, sometimes try that. You come to people, to somebody, and start to whisper. You just tell them whatever you want, but whisper. They'll answer with a whisper. You know what? After a few seconds or even more, they will ask, why are you whispering? But they will react with whisper. So if you yell at somebody and he yells back at you, oh, that's normal. That's normal. Most people can't help it. And if you change the yell into whisper and you continue persistently to whisper to them, they will whisper. So the Torah is bringing us this game that the way you turn to the world outside you, that's basically what you're getting. If you don't like the way the world is behaving towards you, so change your attitude. Don't change the world, you change your attitude. When you change your attitude, the world is changing itself directly to you. So here, Moses came with judgment, and God answered as Hashem, the Tetragrammaton, Youdkevitch. And how does the Or HaChaim calls it? Panim tzochakot, panim smechot. When somebody turns to you with anger, and you, instead of reacting to that person, you answer with a smile, with a laughing face and eyes. It's very hard not to follow that pattern. And that's what God is doing. So I'll skip some of his words because it's a long article that he writes about it. And basically, it's like God is saying, איך אתה מייחס לי מידה רעה? How come you blame me that I have a bad property? From where? ותאמר אלי למה רעות? Because you said, why are you making everything worse? הלא אני Hashem, I am Hashem. Which means, I am the frequency of chesed, loving kindness, rachamim, mercy, V'tov ani lakol, I'm good for everyone. As it says in Psalms 145:9, God is good for everyone. וכמו שכן, אמר הנביא, so the prophet Jeremiah wrote in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3:38, ומפי עליון לא תצא הרעות, from the mouth of the above, evil doesn't come, only what is good. ומה שאמר שם, והטוב על בחינת פרט טוב אחד, והוא להיות אדם צדיק. לא יגזור השם דבר כן, אלא ביד כל אדם לבחור בטוב. Which means God can basically give only what is good. So, who determines if a person is righteous or not? This is the person's choice. We have to choose that state of mind, awareness, attitude, every moment. And what is to be a tzaddik? Tzaddik means a righteous person. So everybody thinks a righteous person is a person that has all the great virtues, okay? And the sages teach us that tzaddik comes from the word le'atzdik, to justify. It's somebody that everything that happens, he says, it's all from God, and it's all for a good reason. I'm a human being. I'm limited. I cannot see the great picture. However, I know that everything comes from God, and therefore everything must be right. So the moment you know, you really know deep inside yourself that everything is for the good. Even things that look terrible. Oh, I know there's a good thing behind it because it will take me where I need to go. You think like this, you are a tzaddik. Why? Because you justify everything that happens. If you have such an attitude, this virtue will bring you to the greatest places. Why? Because you always connect to the happy face of the Creator. And that means he's capable of instilling in you his love, bliss, and goodness, because you truly certain that's what's happening. You know, everything that is great in life is comfortable physically. We already said many times, no. You know, sometimes you need to go through discomfort in order to achieve a better comfort. Let's say somebody is upgrading, moving from a little small, dark home to a bigger, beautiful home, but costs money. That's its comfort. Yeah, you have to move your stuff away. That's discomfort. You have to pack everything. It's not comfortable. You have to put it all in boxes. You need to have movers, and the movers are not always nice people. And the movers bring it over and they can throw stuff. It's a very, who loves to move? It's not so comfortable. So till you get yourself situated in a new place you can really enjoy, and everything is in place and everything is clean, it's not comfortable. So this is what life is about. We have to agree. So the whole thing about going through discomfort, we need to learn how to welcome. By the way, what other choice do we have? If we just go and complain through all this, we'll be grudgy and complain and bitter about it. You know what? That's a not nice way to live, because life is all about discomfort. There's so much of it. You can't choose that. So when everything is bitter and everything is discomfort, and you're just busy all the time complaining, who wants to be a friend of somebody like this? Who wants to do business with somebody like this? And by the way, you never enjoy, because you always find what's wrong with other people, what's wrong with the world. You want redemption? You have to give up complaining. Because complaining is not going to make it better. It's usually making it worse. And therefore, the righteous person, Liot Adam Tzadik, Lo Yigzor Hashem Ken, he knows for sure that everything is for the good. And you know what? When you're totally sure, consciousness is something that is so powerful. When you know for sure that everything is for the good, you'll find the good. And by the way, modern psychology invested billions in researching that thing. And they came out. And it's already it's the quantified. It's like you can really see that people are optimistic. They live longer, make more money, they're healthier, they're more successful, they make 4 to 5 times more money than pessimistic people are like always complain. Why? Because the ones who are optimistic, they're really more resilient because they believe so much, they have faith that everything is good, so they don't stop trying. And if you know that everything is good, so, everything is falling apart, there must be something good over here. What are your chances to find a new way to make a living when you're totally certain there is a new way to make a living? Well, the complainer, he's sure that everything is terrible. He's not looking for anything good because everything that happens, it's a proof that it's worse. Remember Murphy's laws? If there are 4 ways how terrible things can become, most chances it's going to be the 4th and the worst. These kind of people that believe that Murphy is their God, they live a miserable life. This is proven statistically. It is already known. So being resilient and being this kind of, optimistic, everything is great, you'll see there will be another opportunity, there's an opportunity just right in front of us, we don't see that. Those people really make it. So you want to redeem yourselves, you have to redeem your state of mind. You have to give up about, complaining. Complaining is not generating anything positive. It is basically digging your grave. So you have to give it up. And we know one of our major evil inclination, every human being, is, the need to complain, to blame, to find what's wrong. You have to give it up. It's not easy, but that's part of the redemption. So ונמצא שבכל פעם שיזכיר השם זיכרון תשלום הרע לעושה רשעה, and you will find out that every time that God reminds the payment for the evil people, the ones who do evil, it is really precise saying, מרשעים יצא רשע. From the wicked, the evil will come, which means darkness generates darkness. Evil people, they generate the evil, not God. וכן הוא אומר, so one of the proofs, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 19. תייסרך רעתך. Your evil doing is what is torturing you. Don't come to me, God. It's like, what do you want from me? You turn away from me. You worship the evil. You got what you wanted. Because today, everything is horrible. It's going to be even worse. This world is unjust and unfair and so on. So you worship the God of evil. What was the return? When you subscribe to the God of evil, that's what you get. It's not that the God of evil is a power. The same way that cold is a power. No, cold is the lack of warmth. Physics, simple physics. There's no cold generator. You can only take the warmth out of the space. That's called an air conditioning. This is cooling the space. Same thing with light. Darkness is not a power. Okay? Turn off all the lights in the room. Now there's a thick, heavy presence of darkness. Turn on one light little candle. Where did all the darkness go to? It didn't go anywhere because darkness is not a reality. It's a reality only when we believe in it. But there's nothing, it's only a belief that gives it power, not because it's there. So evil is not a power. Although evil can go strong as long as we don't believe in the good. ותמוגנו ביד עווננו, וישלחם ביד פשעם. So you read Isaiah 64:6 or Job 8:4. It's all the darkness we create that is dealing with us. How much power the darkness have? How much power evil has? As much as we are willing to hand over to it. On the other way, מה שאין כן הטוב, but the good is not like this. Hashem ייתן הטוב. God will give the good. Psalms 85:13. Tov Hashem lakol, as we said before, Psalms 145:9. God is giving the good. ומעתה, לא יהיה שעברה צרה לישראל, מי יודע אם היו חייבים כן ועוונם גרם, או לצד הקודם. So, why do people experience evil, hardship, pain, cruelty? It's the energy, it's the darkness that we human beings generate. You want to remove the darkness, you need to generate a strong enough light. Darkness and darkness, it just, become more darkness. Minus and minus becomes more minus, a bigger minus. The last time I spent money that I didn't have, the minus in the bank grew bigger. Okay, so remember that. Unless you put money in the bank, then the minus is becoming smaller. עוד ירצה על זה הדרך להיות שמע משה, למה ראה אותה וגומר למה זה שלחתני בתשובה? Okay, I think we are, it's a long article, but I hope that we understand that the fight against evil is an inner fight. Darkness has only the power willing to give over to it. So, now we can understand better this parasha. And so how does the parasha start in the Zohar commentary? וידבר אלוהים אל משה, so starting with the same verse, רבי אבא פתח, ביטחו באדוני עדי עד, כי ביה אדוני צור עולמים. Rabbi Abba opened with a verse from Isaiah 26, ביטחו באדוני עדי עד. Trust Hashem forever after, because with him is the rock of the ages. I think a lot of people heard that expression. It's coming from here. What does that mean? And the answer is, Rabbi Abba says, כל בני העולם צריכים להתחזק בקדוש ברוך הוא. Every person of the world, all humans, they need to strengthen their trust with God. To be their trust, their security. Verse 2. שואל אם כן, מה פירושו עד? What does it mean forever after? Or in Hebrew, it's like adei ad. Very hard to translate into a different language. And what does it mean? So he's explaining what adei ad means in Hebrew. צריך שיהיה תוקפו של האדם במקום שהוא קיום וקשר של הכל. The strength of a person must be connected, focused on that place, state of mind, that is the existence, the connection of everything. And that place is called Ad. Ad, again, eternal. What does it mean, eternal? The fact that connecting to God as an eternal state of bliss and strength that never changes. The moment you believe in a God that has mood swings, that's a false God. The moment, for an example, some people believe that, sometimes God is upset about me, sometimes he loves me. Sometimes it's simply ignoring me. So the God you believe in is a false, fake God that your dark side invented. Of course, this God is going to fail you. So let that God go and disappear because it doesn't exist anyway. There's no God like this. The God we have to connect to, says the Zohar, is the eternal one. What does mean eternal and infinite? That he never changes, and he never changes attitude towards anyone. He's above time and above changes. And that means that when our state of mind can reach that place, we can heal ourselves. Why are we scared? Why are we sick? Why are we anything that gets us into trouble is because, as Zohar says, we did not focus on the eternal, great, one only God. The moment you are connected to that place, to that frequency, reality, you're in a different world. Emotionally, you're in a different place. When you know for sure, because you connected to it, that there is an eternal God that is much more powerful than any force in the universe. And there's no force in the universe that is not serving his purpose. Of course, we react in that instant, we react differently. We don't get scared, we don't lose it. Most of the times we really fall and sin and make mistakes and destroy our lives is because we basically disconnected from that place, that awareness, that state of mind. And that is basically where the whole story is about. So when you say VaEra, the name of the parasha VaEra, there's another parasha VaEra. VaEra and VaEra, they're very similar. Okay? VaEra means that God was seen by Abraham. Here, God says, and I was revealed to them. So it's the same word, it's just passive and active. VaEra is active, VaEra is passive. Okay, but it's the same thing. And we explain when we see that word, means to see. Seeing is a revelation. A revelation of the light of God, a revelation is chokhmah. What is chokhmah? Chokhmah, kulam b'chokhmah asit, to see the whole picture. That revelation that the fathers had, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that is what made them the forefathers of the ideas of, positive thinking in humanity. That's where it's coming from. So, and that's how we can understand the next words of in the parasha. And I'm going to verse 5 in chapter 6. וגם אני שמעתי את נקת בני ישראל. I heard the pain of the children of Israel that are enslaved to the Egyptians. I remembered my covenant. לכן אמור לבני ישראל, and that here comes one of the most important verses in the whole Torah. Verse 6. It's a promise. Remember, it's God's promise. God never changes his promises. This is an eternal promise. This promise exists in eternity. That's the word ad. לכן אמור לבני ישראל. Therefore, you should tell the children of Israel, Ani Adonai, I am Hashem, which means my love to you will never change. It's in present tense, always. From God's point of view, it's a present. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, for eternity. That's ad. והוצאתי אתכם מתחת צבלות מצרים, and I will take you out of the sufferings of Egypt. והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם, and I will save you from their slavery. וגאלתי אתכם בזרוע נטויה, and I will redeem you in a strong hand. ובשפטים גדולים. ולקחתי אתכם לי לעם, והייתי לכם לאלוהים, and I will take you to be my people. And I will be your God. And the sealing of that, וידעתם כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם. And you would know, which means how do we know that that process has been completed, finalized? You will have the awareness, וידעתם. You will have that knowledge, that knowing, and Adam knew Eve. You will be connected to it. To what? כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם. That I am Hashem, your God. Which means when you connect to that place, that whatever happens, it's connected to the eternal God that never changes his attitude towards his creatures. When you come to that place, you're being redeemed. And that's why when we go through one of the most powerful processes in the year, from Rosh Hashanah, of the repenting, the prayers, the shofar, the 7 days of Teshuvah, and returning to God, and then by Yom Kippur, and the prayers of Yom Kippur, and how do we seal the Yom Kippur prayer? It's the whole congregation repeats 7 times after the leader, Adonai hu ha-Elohim. Adonai hu ha-Elohim. Which means that's exactly what it says. How do we seal the connection to the Creator that we really made a change? That God, the eternal God, is the God, which means he never changes. The way I can connect to that state of mind, to that level of awareness, that is redemption. As long as I'm not there yet, I'm not redeemed yet. Why? Because I'm under the slavery to my fears, my worries, my lack of vision. It's all about that. So how long does it take to purify our state of mind, to reach such a clarity that we can say, no, this is not worrying me because I know we're going to the right place. I'll do the right place, and that will bring me closer to the light of the Creator. It's there. I just need to attach to the tree of life. So in this parasha, we have 7 of the 10 plagues. Why 7? Why 10 plagues? And the answer is, when the Creator created the universe, it is taught that in Genesis 1, that 10 times, and God said. How could he say? Was there a voice? Was there air? Does he have vocal cord? Was there anyone to listen or to hear? No one. So what do you mean saying? Saying is not just talking with words. When somebody has a statement, he's delivering some message. The message the Creator delivered to creation is the love of the Creator to his creation. That was 10 emanations, 10 sephirot. Humanity, after the sin of Adam, worked really hard till the time of the redemption to darken that light. The 10 illuminations were so darkened, humans almost could not connect to it. They could not connect to that awareness of the eternity of God's grace. The 10 plagues were there to remove that blockage. Many times we need to go through purification, like the purification of the gold and the silver. I said before, the Torah calls Egypt the iron furnace, which means our souls had to go through that purification together with the Egyptians, because basically the journey of humanity is already summed up over here. The more we reach, the easier, the faster we reach to that place of eternal faith and connection to the true God of love and unconditional caring. That's how we're going to be redeemed. That's the name of the game. That's a war. And right now, if you look around, what's happening all over the planet, if you really think, contemplate on it, it's all about one story. This is the story. This is the story of societies, and this is the story of individuals. What creates darkness, cruelty, greed? It's all fear. It's all fear. It's the lack of the ability to connect to that awareness. When you're in that awareness, you have no need to be cruel. You have no need to abuse other people's rights. You have no need to step on anyone. You have no need to take much more than what you need, really. You're balanced. You are fulfilled. You're fulfilled with the grace and the bliss of the Creator. And you can't just but give it away to others, because you cannot give what you don't have. This is when we live in a very, very powerful time. And people must choose. Who do they choose? The false god of hatred, darkness, anger, and fear that creates more pain, or the true God of eternal bliss and love? That's basically the name of the story. And I wish each one of us success in that journey, because this journey is everyone's journey. Thank you so much.